This is your sign to put on the lenses that God intended for you to have. God wants you to love others the way that He loved you and the way that He continues to always love you and to pursue you every single day. God right now is asking for you to look at yourself the way that God sees you, to look at others the way that God sees them. God wants you to pursue people with grace, love, mercy, and truth. That is exactly what Christians, that is exactly who people that follow Jesus are supposed to look at other people and supposed to treat them. Jeremiah chapter 12 verse 3 says this, "As for you, Lord, you know me, you see me." And then it says this, "You test whether my heart is with you." This is so important for us to recognize that God sees us throughout every single situation. He knows us throughout the hard times and the easy times. He knows when we're in comfortable situations. He knows when we're going through a trial and a test. Why? Because God will put us through testings. God will put us through trials. Remember this though, God will never put a temptation in front of you. Why is that, you may ask? Because God will always give you a way out. If God gives you a way out of something, that means that God never intended for you to go through that. But God does put trials and testings in your life so that He can see whether you're going to choose to love Him or choose to go after the world and choose to fall into the world's traps, to choose to fall into the enemy's traps, the traps that demons have put in your life. Remember, God is going to be with you throughout the entire process. The goal for us Christians and the goal that Jesus wants for us is to see others the way that God intended for us, is to see others the way that God looks at you, and to see others with this grace, with this mercy that God wants us to show every single person so that we can love them, so that we can gain their trust, and so that God can make us in a closer and more intimate community together. Because we don't want to be so standoffish. We don't want to have a front with other people. We want to be loving, we want to be caring, and we want to include people into the community that Christ intended for us. The Lord knows your heart. The Lord knows you, and He sees you throughout your entire day. The Lord knows when we trust Him, and the Lord also knows when we don't trust Him. That's why we have to put all of our heart, our mind, and our soul into trusting the Lord, trusting His timing, but not just trusting His timing, meeting God halfway. A lot of times we say, okay, we're waiting on God for this miracle. We're waiting on God to come through with this thing that we want so badly. We're so desperate for God to heal us in this area. We're so desperate for God to help us to get married to this person that we're in love with, to have this child that we want to have with. We're so invested in waiting on God, but at the same time, we're not meeting God in that waiting season, because God might be asking for us to act out in faith and meet